Okay. The recording has finally started. Zachary's going to unmute himself and read the definition of personification for us.
Personification gives human-like characteristics to known things. Example.
No, to non-human things.
So,
So,
personification,
personification, Mrs. Knife probably uses it way more than she should, but it's when you give human-like qualities to something that's not human. So that's when you're like, if I ran into the table and I said that the table hurt me. No, the table didn't hurt you. You hurt yourself by walking into the table. The table is a physical object. It could not hurt you. Or if, you set your bike up on a hill, but didn't put the kickstand down and it, rolled down the hill and you were like, my bike ran away. Bikes can't run. It rolled away because you didn't put your kickstand down. So we'll see personification a lot, but it happens a lot in fantasy stories and obviously fiction stories and stuff like that. There was not necessarily personification in our story this week, but I just wanted to talk about it. Personification, Mrs. Knifer uses it all the time. So from now on, you can think to yourself, ooh, did I just give a human-like quality to something that's not human? Dun, da, da, da. All right. The next figure of speech we're going to talk about is a metaphor. I need someone to unmute themselves and read. Rochelle, please unmute yourself and read what a metaphor is.
Metaphor. A figure
Hey, girlfriend, you gotta be nice and loud.
A figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally
applicable. So metaphor is kind of like personification, but not exactly the same. It's a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action in which it is not literally applicable. So here's an example. The curtain of night fell upon us. Okay. Night can literally not fall on you. It just means it became night. Okay. Does the sky fall on top of us? No, like, if I threw a pencil and it fell on top of Kylan, that can happen. Sorry, Kylan, I don't know why I picked you. But night cannot literally fall on us. So that is a metaphor, a phrase that we say something, but that cannot literally happen, okay? And then a simile. I know we've already talked about a simile. A simile is comparing two things using like or as. So if I said, wow, that frog is as big as a dinosaur, I just use a simile because I compared a frog and a dinosaur using as. Okay? Similes are the easiest to point out of all four of these things that we're talking about today. And the last one is an alliteration. Bless you. Evan, can you please unmute yourself and read what an alliteration is?
Yeah. Alliteration. The occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of the adjacent or closer connected words. Example. Whitford sang.
Did you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, did everyone hear him? Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so an alliteration is when there's like sounds that sound the same. So our example is sweet bird sang. So sweet and sang have the same sound. So if I said marvelous Molly moved, marvelous and moved sound the same. They have that same sound. So that would be an alliteration, okay? So it's the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words, okay? So we also hear alliterations a lot in poems. Poems are literally full of alliterations. Evan. Okay, well, then remind me not to call on you, dude. Anyways, if you did not hear what Evan said, it said the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Example, sweet birds sang. So I could say, what's another alliteration? Happy ducks hop. Okay, so happy hop. And then we're talking about the ducks. That would be an alliteration. So once again, personification, Mrs. Kneifel uses it all the time. Every time someone points out when Mrs. Kneifel uses personification from now on, you get a prize. Personification, I don't know who's tapping, but you're going to have to stop. Gives human-like characteristics to non-human-like things. Example. Ouch, the table hurt me. The table did not actually hurt you. You hurt yourself by running into the table because the table is not real. Metaphor. A figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action which it is not literally applicable. Applicable means it literally can't actually happen. Like, the curtain of night fell upon us. Night cannot fall on you. That would be weird. It just happens. Lily, stop turning around. Simile, comparing things using like or as. That's the easiest thing to find in our writing. We actually read one in Airborne last week when they compared the volcano to the Devils and Vale. It's like, was as big as or as bright as. So using like or as, those are the key things for similes. And an alliteration, the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of an adjacent or closely connected words. Sweet birds sang. Marvelous Molly moved. Okay, that would be an alliteration. We find alliterations all the time in poems. Are there any questions about these 4 things? These are all just figure of speeches. I just wanted to go over them. There will be hold on one second, Mark. There will be a question tomorrow on our quiz about one of these, and we're going to do it together. Okay? So since we are just now learning these, we're going to talk about them more and more throughout the school year. But tomorrow on our quiz, I believe it's number 4, we will do that one together. We'll go over it. We'll talk about it. That way we totally understand it. So tomorrow on your quiz, you'll get at least one right. Mr. Mark, do you have a question, sir?
I have the best alliteration. Marvelous.
Wait, my volume. All right.
The mysterious Mark maneuvered.
Yes. Coincidental, you said mysterious because we have a conspiracy up in here. All right, and mysterious is one of our vocab words. Good job. Anyone else want to share a personification or an alliteration or a simile or a metaphor that's off the top of your head you can think of? Rochelle, would you like to share one? You have to unmute yourself.
Rochelle reads books.
Rochelle reads books. Ooh, look at that alliteration. Thank you. Anyone else? We could say a simile. It was as dark as grape juice. I don't know. Grape juice is really dark. That would be a simile. Evan, I told you I'm not calling on you because you don't have a microphone, you said. So I take back my hand raise. Anyone else? All right. Well, so that was just a little insight on those. Like I said, we'll learn about them. We'll hear them more. We're going to try to pick them out in our writing now that we know what they are. Or not in our writing, but when we're reading, we're going to try to pick them out more. So moving right along, here are 5 questions, 5 review questions from our story. The first one, what conflict or problem does Mary have after she finds the key? And this is kind of from the, we find this out in the foreword. But first thing I need to do is I need to rewrite or restate my question. Would someone like to unmute themselves and tell me how I could possibly restate this question? Anyone besides Evan? Evan's microphone is not working. We will not be calling on Evan. Would anyone like to how would I restate this question? Molly, you want to try to restate it for me?
That's my voice. Okay, now do it.
Mary's conflict Mary's problem after she found the key was she needed to find the door.
Okay. Mary's problem after she found the key was... Hold on, I'm waiting for that to show up. So that's perfect. You're telling me who it's about, Mary. We're talking about it as a problem, and we restated what it was about, the key. So Mary's problem after she found the key was she needed to find the door to it. Period. But I want to add more to that. So we already restated the question, and we kind of have an answer in our own words. She needed to find the door to, let's say the door to the key instead of it. Okay, so now we just need to add a little bit of details from the story. Someone remind me where she found the key, and then someone remind me what the door is going to go to, and then we'll wrap it up. So Mary's problem after she found the key was she needed to find the key to the door. Olive, unmute yourself and tell me where she found the key.
Did you say the key for the door?
Find the door to the key.
She
Hold
found
on, time out. What should it be?
This is very hard. You said it wrong.
Olive. She found the key where?
she found the key in the dirt.
Mary found the key, and I'm going to quote the story, half buried in the ground. And I'm going to throw that in quotes because that found. That's not what I wanted. Ground is what I wanted. That came straight from the story like that. Period. And then I need someone to tell me where we think the key leads to. Mary thinks the key is for what? Someone I haven't already talked to. Marissa, unmute yourself. Where does Mary think the key is for? Where is she hoping, or where does she think this key is for? Marissa, it's literally the title of the story. Mary thinks the key is for, actually we're going to put, yeah, Mary thinks / hopes the key is for the abandoned secret garden, period. If it shows up. Perfect. And then now I want to wrap it up. We told what the problem is, that the key, she needs to find the door. We talked about where she found the key. We talked about what she thinks the key is for. And now I just need to have a conclusion sentence. How could I conclude this? Abandoned. I have no idea how to spell that. Abandoned. Let's figure out how to spell abandoned. Abandoned. Abandoned.
ABAN.
Could you try again?
Okay, sorry. Now it should be better. Abandoned. Except for it's still not better. All right, abandoned secret garden. All right, someone wrap it up for me. Tell me how we're going to end this. We need a nice conclusion sentence. Someone I have not heard from already. How would I wrap this up? Mark, you want to wrap it up for me?
Oh, dang it. That's the problem that Mary had after she found the
Wait, my
key.
volume's off. Sorry. Try again.
That's the problem that Mary had after finding the key. I don't know.
Perfect.
I thought it-
That is the problem that Mary has after she found the key. Would you look at that? And guess what? That's almost a full paragraph. It's about it is 4 sentences long, so maybe a little bit short of a paragraph. But you gave a ton of information. Lots of you have issues with not using a capital letter, not using punctuation, and you would be like, to find the door. And that is not enough. Every time you guys are doing a written response, it needs to be long like this. You need to give me extra information. So let's read this all. Well, I'm going to read it, but let's read the whole thing. What conflict or problem does Mary have after she finds the key? Mary's problem after she found the key was she needed to find the door to the key. Mary found the key half buried in the ground. Mary thinks / hopes the key is for the abandoned secret garden. That is the problem that Mary has after she found the key. What a great stinking answer. I absolutely love it. That was a great job, guys. Okay. The next answer, I just want a complete sentence. I'm not looking for necessarily the radar. I just want a complete sentence. What is the climax or like the height of the story? The oh snap moment before the falling action. What do you think it is? Some of us might have different opinions, but I want to know. So remember, there's the beginning, the rising action. It's building up to something. What is the climax? The oh snap part of the story. Molly, unmute yourself and tell me what you think the oh snap part of the story is. Remember, we're just answering this in one sentence. We're not doing full radar. What do you think the climax is, Molly?
When she finds the door.
When she finds the door. Okay. Anyone else have a different climax for the story? Anyone else? Ava, what do you think? I cannot hear you. When she actually steps into the secret garden? Okay. Anyone else want to share what they think the climax of the story is? It's okay to have a different opinion. I like both of those. I would take either of those options because I think they're both right at the end, or right towards the end, and they are both. So I'm gonna write a sentence for both of those. So a complete sentence for this would be, without using radar, could be: the climax of the story is when the wind blew the curtain of vines over and Mary found the secret garden door. If that ever appears, you'll be able to see my beautiful sentence I just typed. We'll see if it ever appears because the computer's moving slow. I don't know why I'm singing about the computer moving slow. Come on. You can do it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you started singing about the computer singing slow.
Next of the story, wind blew the vines over and Mary found the secret garden door. Awesome. That is a totally great climax. And that's what Molly considers to be the climax. Ava said it's when she went in the secret door, which is totally fine that you think that's the climax. So I'm going to write a sentence for what Ava thought. The climax of the story, look at me restating the sentence, or restating the question. Even though I'm not doing full radar, I should still always be restating my question. That way the readers know what you're talking about. The climax of the story was when Mary used the key to open the door and entered the abandoned, I'm spelling that wrong again, secret garden. Woohoo. As soon as it shows up, we'll reread it again. What is taking so long? Landon, put your lanyard down or put it in your desk. Stop spinning it around, sir. That's very distracting. Some of you guys that have not answered yet, be prepared. You're about to be called on for our next question. Dun, da, da, da. Why is my sentence not showing? Oh, there it is. The climax, why do I keep on spelling story wrong? I'm totally sorry that there's some misspelled words. It's just because I'm typing fast and I can't see it as it shows up. The climax of the story was when Mary used the key to open the door and entered the abandoned secret garden. I would totally, if I was grading this, I would take either of those for the climax of the story. Great job, Mary. Why do I want to call you Mary now? Great job, Molly. Great job, Ava. All right, our next question. Review pages 144, and I'm supposed to be 145, not 115. And it said, what phrases makes Mary seem what she's doing realistic? So you should have HMH open. I'm just going to quickly reread some of the things on there, and we're going to find some phrases that maybe make what Mary's doing a little bit realistic. So it was supposed to be 114 and 115. But Mrs. Kneifel is just off her rocker today. So skipping rope's a wonderful thing. She counted and skipped until her cheeks were quite red. She skipped into the kitchen garden and saw Ben Weatherstaff digging, blah, blah, blah. She had wondered if he had noticed her. She really wanted to see him skip. Mary skipped all around the garden. She made up her mind to try to script the whole length. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so feel free to continue reading that. Does anyone want to restate my question for me? Remember, Mrs. Kneifel really likes to restate the question without giving away the answer. How could I restate this question without saying an actual answer, just by a straight sentence without an answer? Anyone? Molly, would you like to unmute yourself? Without giving away an answer, though, just a sentence.
A realistic thing she did was.
Oh, that you stay away sentence.
Oh.
Stay away sentence. Mark.
What? I can't hear you because of the echo.
Sorry. All right, give me a. Molly, are you muted? Try to give me a restating the question without giving away an answer. So don't tell me because, don't tell me was, don't give me an answer. Just say the question as not a question anymore.
Okay. Some words and phrases that make Mary seem that she's realistic is, and then boom. Then you can state all of
Yeah.
them.
But I want a full
Sentence
sentence
before
before
that.
that. I wanna see my- Okay, one of you is not muted because I'm hearing an echo. So one of you shut off your unmute. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I would do. Then we're going to use Mark and Molly. So if I was doing this, because Mrs. Knife likes her answers to be nice and long, I would say, Mary says many words and phrases that make her seem very realistic. Period. I didn't even give away an answer yet, but I already restated the question. Then I would say what Mark or Molly said, and I would say some of the words and phrases she used were, if this shows up, everyone, you should be looking for a word or phrase that makes her seem realistic, or something that happened, a characteristic, something she did that made her seem realistic. Eventually, my thing will show up.
I have one.
You can. Okay, hold on. As soon as what I already said shows up, then we will get started. Okay, so Mary says many words and phrases. I'm so sorry things are spelled wrong. We're just going to go with it. It takes too long to fix it because my computer's moving like a snail. Mary says many words and phrases that make her seem very realistic. Some of the words and phrases she uses were...
Hey, you
We're
just
gonna
said a
put it-
simile.
Yeah, go ahead. Were. I'm going to put it in quotes. Rochelle, tell me yours. Read it from the story.
She counted
That's it? Just she counted?
and skipped and counted until her cheeks were quite red.
Okay, so Mrs. Michael's not going to type that whole thing. Okay, mute yourself because I'm echoing. Mrs. Kneiffel's not going to write that whole thing because we are short on time, but traditionally you would write the whole thing. So she counted and skipped until her cheeks were quite red. So I'm going to put she ... red, which is a way to shorten up stuff, but you're not going to do that. And then we can say this sentence makes her seem very realistic because if you were jump roping for a long time, your cheeks would turn red too. Right? We already talked about that. Your cheeks would turn red too. What's another one? Zach, you hold on, wait for this last thing to show up. And then we will say another one as soon as this works. Okay. Another one, Zach.
It says that she's 10 years old.
Okay, speak up louder.
It says that she's 10 years old.
That has nothing to do with realistic because I could say a dinosaur's 10 years old too. Try again. There should be some different ones. Landon! Stop doing whatever you're doing. Anyone else? I should hear lots and lots of answers beside from people I haven't already talked to. That means Kylan or Julian or Olive or Landon or Marissa or Ella. Tell me, what is it? Or Avery, I think you're on. Isaac, you're on. What's something that makes her feel realistic or seem realistic? It really is helpful because your cheeks would turn nice and red if you had been skipping. Your cheeks would turn really red. Dun, 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 dun. Another one is, it should be a quote from the story. Who is typing in my chat? Isaac, do you want to unmute yourself or type one in? Isaac. Okay, I'm going to come back. Landon, tell me one. Literally, you just have to read one from the book. Find something that seems realistic. Or Lillian. How about Halfway down the path, she was so hot and breathless that she was obligated to stop. That would be another good one because we talked about how you might be obligated to stop because you also would get super tired and stuff. So we're running short on time, so I'm not going to totally type that. Let's just pretend. Another one, it would be quote. She made up her mind to try to skip the whole length of it. It was a good long skip, and she began slowly, but before she had gone halfway down the path, she was so hot and breathless that she was obligated to stop. Quote, period. And then I would say this also makes her seem very realistic because if you set a goal to skip a really long way, you might also not be able to make it, and you might also have to stop. Does everyone see how that makes her seem realistic? Landon, I'm about to throw that in the trash if you do not put it in your desk or around your neck, sir. It is not a toy. It is not meant to be a distraction. This is the second time I am talking to you about it. Put it away. Does everyone see how that would work as a realistic thing? Nod your head. I want to see everyone's head nodding. And then, of course, the last thing we would have to do is we would have to wrap it up. And a good way to wrap it up would be above our ways or above our phrases from the story that make Mary seem realistic. You could say, these are some reasons I think Mary seems realistic. You could just say Mary was very realistic in the story The Secret Garden, a realistic fiction story. Anything like that you could totally say, and it would be fantastic. This should be in real life. This would be a really long answer because you're going to be using direct quotes from the story, okay? Are there any questions on this answer? I know I didn't type it all the way out. It's just because we're running a teeny bit short on time. But are there any questions on this one? Okay. Now this one. Why does the garden make Mary feel as if she has found her own world? We kind of already talked about this yesterday, so we're going to skip this one and see how much we have time for. But right now, I just want to use some descriptive words from The Secret Garden versus the normal garden. So right now, I just want some descriptive words for The Secret Garden. So if you can think of a word for The Secret Garden, I want you to say it. Ava. I cannot hear you.
It has no color.
Okay, so I want a word, okay? I don't want a sentence. I don't want a phrase. Tell me what that, maybe a tiny phrase, but I don't want a sentence. How could we say that?
Dead.
If something is colorless and very blank, what's a word we could say for it? How about dull? Or we could actually say colorless. Okay? Because it was browns, it was, gray, it didn't have the nice vibrant colors. Landon.
Hank, come over here.
Were you just
Hank.
raising your hand for fun?
Hank, what are you doing? You look cute.
Okay, so we just said colorless and dull. So I'm not going to be putting legitimate colors. Molly. Dead. That's a good way to describe it. Things were dead. What's another thing? There were literally feel free to turn the pages and go to 119, and it literally says in paragraph 13, it has a ton of actual descriptive words. Feel free to go there. What's another descriptive word? I want to hear from Julian, Eli, Ella, Lillian, Kylan. I want to hear from one of you. What's another descriptive word we could say?
Run down.
Marissa, I want to hear from you. Olive, I want to hear from you. What is another descriptive word that we could say? Julian. Deserted. Right. No one's been there. What's another word we could say for deserted? Mrs. Kneifel already spelled it wrong like 15 times today. Everyone?
Run down.
Remember? Kylan. Okay, old. That's not the word I was looking for. What's the word Mrs. Kneifel spelled wrong like 15 times, and it literally sounds a lot like deserted? Ava. Abandoned. We could say that. I'm looking for our vocabulary word that is literally used to describe it, and no one is saying it. It is even highlighted. It is very what, Molly? It is very mysterious. It's a mysterious place. Things are also matted together. We said it's dull, it's colorless, it's dead, it's deserted, old, abandoned, mysterious, matted. Oh, there's another one. She said it was the blankest place ever. There's 2 words. It was really blank and it was really blank. It's a little bit further down on the page, like 15, 16. What are the other ones? Bland. Avery, that works. Right now I'm in the middle of teaching, mister.
Rundown.
Okay, well, you could probably make your own judgment there because you're literally facing a wall and I'm in the middle of teaching. So could you just make that own decision for yourself for just a minute, bud? All right, there's 2 other words I'm looking for. It was very blank and it was very blank. Look at line 15. What word am I looking for? Lillian, what word am I looking for? What word am I looking for in line 15? It was very what? You're not on the right page, which is why you cannot find it, ma'am. Olive.
You waited a moment and listened to the stillness.
Still is the word I'm looking for, meaning there's no wind. It's just nothing's moving. Everything is just calm. And there's one other word. If it's really still, there's no wind, there's no sound. It's also very... Ava. What? What'd you say? It wouldn't be hollow because it's filled with stuff. Rochelle.
Quiet.
Quiet. All right, that is plenty of words to describe the secret garden. It is dull, it is colorless, it's dead, deserted, old, abandoned, mysterious. Things are matted, it's bland, it's still, it's quiet. Now let's just talk about the garden itself. What's some things we could say about the regular garden itself? What's some words? Olive. Pretty. Okay. Molly. Alive. How about Ella? What's something we could say about the regular garden? Beautiful. Kylan, what's something we could say about the regular garden? Feel free to go back and look at the regular garden. You can see it. It's very what? Don't use anything like pretty or beautiful anymore. Those 2 words have been used. I don't want superficial words. I want legitimate words.
Green.
Colorful. Yeah, look at all those colorful. And let's just also say bright. Those are bright colors. What is Evan? Do you have anything to say? And I'll just repeat it after you.
Hank, come over here. Hank, a miss. Hank, a miss. Hank.
Okay, we are on the regular garden, sir. We are past the secret garden. We already have alive. What? I don't. Okay, I don't think you're understanding what I'm trying to say. We're just using descriptive words to describe the regular garden. So far, we have pretty, alive, beautiful, color, bright, colorful, bright. Mark or Isaac or Avery, write one in my chat. Molly. Lush. That means that it's full and things are, thriving. Ooh, thriving. We could say that. That's a good word. Things are really, living the good life in this garden. The other one is unkept, which means this one is very blank. Anyone, type it in my chat. Rochelle.
You can just say it
and I'll repeat it, Rochelle. What? Okay, vibrant. Mr. Mark, we don't know if it spells good for sure, I don't think. I don't think it said that. Unless I just don't remember. Oh, we can say it was windy out there. Remember, she was talking about how there's wind, but it was still inside the other garden, so obviously it's not going to be very windy. How about, let's say, Evan, this kind of goes off what Evan said earlier. He said common. I don't want to say necessarily common, but how about normal? Does the regular garden seem like a normal garden? It's colorful, it's bright, it's alive. That seems like a normal garden, right? All right. So those are some good words. So go us, some good descriptive words. There is going to be a question on your quiz tomorrow where you're going to have to compare these two gardens. So keep these words in mind. We are just about out of time, so we are not going to do why does the garden make Mary feel as if she's found a world all of her own. We kind of already talked about this yesterday, so I'm just going to say it really quick again. And remember, what did I want to say exactly? So Mary feels that the garden is a world of her own because it is in the wild, it's unattended, and it's been abandoned for years. So she probably feels that she can come here whenever she wants and be alone, right? Because as far as we know, do we know if anyone else knows where it is? You know, normally there's not a ton of keys for things. So if she has the key, other people probably don't have the key. So it's been abandoned for years. So Mary knows she can come here and be alone from time to time if she needs that. And she can feel the stillness and she can feel the quietness. Okay. So you guys did a pretty good job. We definitely worked on radar with our first two questions. You guys did a good one with that. Or our second question and our third question, your guys' climaxes of the story totally made sense. We had some good descriptive words. We are officially out of time because we have to head to PE. If you are at home, thank you for joining us. This recording will be posted. My class, I need you guys to leave the meet, close your computers, and get in line for gym class. If you're at home, leave my meet. I will see you later. Okay, yeah, put your gym shoes on. It's Wednesday. We already should have our gym shoes on. Goodbye, 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 friends. Really, today? Yeah, that's what I thought, bud.